Hey everybody, this is a part 3 of a series that we're doing on Isaiah for the holidays, looking at Isaiah texts that come up in the New Testament and in Christian history that we sing about in some of our carols and things. And I just thought it might be good to look back at the historical context. For the third part, I'm actually really excited about looking at Isaiah 60 with you all today. And it's not a reference that we get usually as we read through the birth narrative of Matthew. So I want to look at Matthew first. And in this case, it's Matthew 2, verse 11. So in this is the scene when these astrologers are coming to Jerusalem. And they're seeking the king of the Jews. And they come to Herod, and there's all this drama. But the verse in particular that we're focusing on here is in verse 11. So when they enter into Bethlehem, which is just a suburb, a village outside of Jerusalem, essentially part of Jerusalem. In verse 11, on entering the house, they saw the child with Mary, his mother. And they knelt down and paid him homage. Then, opening their treasure chests, they offered him gifts of gold and frankincense and myrrh. So in this short little scene, I think we rightly imagine and see these wise, sage-like figures, astrologers, who have followed the star to the place of the birth of Jesus. But maybe we miss out by not seeing the Isaiah in the background of this. We kind of can miss out on the political significance of this event. So I want to take us back to Isaiah 60. Isaiah 60 is about Jerusalem. All the yous and the yours are referring to Jerusalem as the city. And without reading all of this, I'm going to read just the first few verses here. Isaiah 60 begins with, "Arise and shine, for your light has come, and the glory of the Lord has risen upon you." So Jerusalem. "Darkness shall cover the earth, the thick darkness the peoples, but the Lord will dawn upon you." So hear the light language. "And his glory will appear over you." So I want you to see the connection between the dawn over Jerusalem and the star that led the Magi to Jerusalem, though they're following the light. "And nations shall come to your light, and kings to the brightness of your dawn." And the Magi were foreigners. They were people from the east. They weren't locals. So they are the nations coming to Jerusalem. Verse 4, "Lift up your eyes and look around. They all gather. They all come to you. Your sons shall come from far away. Your daughters shall be carried on their nurses' arms. Then you shall see and be radiant. Your heart shall thrill and rejoice, because the abundance of the sea shall be brought to you, and the wealth of nations shall come to you. A multitude of camels shall cover you. The young camels of Midian and Ephah and all those from Sheba shall come." Now these places are from the east, from the area of Persia in the ancient world, and I think that's on purpose, and I think that's being picked up by the men of the east in Matthew. And listen to this, the end of verse 6, "They shall bring gold and frankincense, and shall proclaim the praise of the Lord. All the flocks of Kedar shall be gathered to you. The rams of Nebaioth shall minister to you. They shall be acceptable on my altar, and I will glorify my glorious house." So there's several features. We have the light that's dawning and the star. We have these astrologers from the east coming to Jerusalem to honor the king. And this is picked up in all of these. Gold, and they bring gold and frankincense. These are not, especially frankincense, not common. And so in Matthew, just by paralleling these, it seems like it's saying, hey, this is a fulfillment, in a sense at least, a fulfillment of Isaiah 60. This is the nations coming to Jerusalem to pay homage and honor the king. So Matthew 2, again, is this political event. And there's one other element that's really important, especially for the politics of Isaiah 60, is that Isaiah 60 is playing off an image from the Persian Empire. Look up the Apadana reliefs in this town of capital city of Persia, Persepolis. These are pictures of that on walls, and the image is the king in the middle with the sun disk representing the deity over the head, and all the nations peacefully bringing gifts to the Persian king. And so Isaiah 60, and there's a lot more to this, but Isaiah 60 is actually kind of playing off of Persian propaganda and saying it's not Persia, it's not Persepolis, it's not the king of Persia that all the nations are come to, but it's Jerusalem, and they're all coming peacefully, and they're bringing gifts because this is the place where the light has dawned. And so think about this as a background for Matthew. And again, in this small village outside of Jerusalem, the nations are coming. They're bringing the gifts peacefully. This birth of Jesus and the dawning of the star over Jerusalem is a pronouncement of the kingdom of God breaking in, of this long-awaited peace that the people that they've been looking forward to for generation upon generation, and here it is. This is the moment. I think it's important to see that this reign of peace. Later on in Isaiah 60, we do have this peace as their overseer. This is the season when we join the Magi, the astrologers, in honoring King Jesus. Right? This is a royal scene, and we commit ourselves to the kingdom of God. Our faith is political, and our faith is global. And don't mishear me saying that it aligns with a political party. In fact, it's not. We desire nations to lay down arms against one another and proclaim the only way to peace is the way of Christ. Peace won't come through a political party or an economic ideology or a particular country. Peace rules in the subtle acts of patience with somebody who's trying or agitating. The righteous move toward justice or standing up for the person who's being picked on. Standing with the oppressed. The full participation in the kingdom of God. I mean, we could really fill this out. Just taking on the character of God. When the church does this, we join in the kingdom of God. So we celebrate now this inauguration of our King. We celebrate the kingdom of peace that's coming about. And may God bless his church with grace and peace as we celebrate our King and anticipate the peace of Christ this Christmas.